San Diego State continues its national rise. The Aztecs, who are one of just 2 undefeated teams in the country, are ranked 7th in the nation, having climbed 6 spots in the AP poll and 5 spots in the coaches poll. Hi, I'm Jesse Kurtz in the Mountain West Network studio. For more on the Aztecs and their national standing, we are pleased to bring in Jerry Palm of CBS Sports, who is their senior writer. Jerry, I appreciate you making some time for us.
Always glad to talk to you guys. How's it going?
We're great. In your most recent bracketology, you slotted San Diego State on the #1 seed line for the upcoming NCAA tournament. Why?
Well, I mean, for one thing, they're undefeated, but they've also played a good, maybe not great schedule, but a good schedule, and certainly good enough to belong on the top line of the bracket at this point. I mean, this is a team with 5 Quadrant 1 wins, and that doesn't always mean a lot at this time of the year because the net is still, like all rankings that start everybody at 0, are still sorting themselves out. But these are legitimate wins. I mean, Creighton and Iowa are also in the bracket, BYU, Utah, Utah State, all teams under consideration for the bracket. So, these are legitimate wins against good opposition, and all of those games are away from home. So, you're still undefeated with wins like that. This is a team that definitely belongs in the bracket and high up in the bracket.
You talk about being 5-0 in those Quad 1 games. For people who don't know, those are defined as home games against top 30 teams, neutral site games against top 50 teams, and road games against top 75 teams. In those parameters, you talked about the wins over Creighton, Iowa, BYU, Utah, and Utah State all away from home. Which victory impressed you the most?
I think I'd have to say Creighton because they're the best team on this list. Creighton and Iowa are top half of the bracket teams. These are really good teams. And the only hesitation I have is that the others are road games. You win at Utah State, that's a tough environment. You win at BYU, that's a tough environment. And winning on the road is always harder than even winning on a neutral floor. But in the end, I think when you're looking at San Diego State's tournament resume, whatever it is, 2 months from now, those 2 wins are going to probably be the best wins that they have on their resume.
Well, San Diego State basketball has always thrived on a foundation of great defense, and this year, really no exception. The Aztecs are holding teams to under 57 points per game, which ranks 5th in the country. What makes this team so difficult to score on here this season?
You know what it really is? It's the culture of the program. It's part of the identity of the program. This is something that it has survived a coaching change. That identity for this program is we're going to be tough to score on. And I personally like that just because the old saying is that defense travels. If you're a really good defensive team, you always have a chance to win because you're keeping yourself in the game. And I just think there are teams that are, Virginia's a defense culture team, Purdue's a defense culture team, and there are teams out there that is the backbone of what they do. That's their identity, and for San Diego State, that's been their identity. And if you don't have that, I think it's hard to be a good defensive team year in and year out. You might have occasional years here and there, but not year in and year out.
Well, offensively, it's a very balanced and unselfish team here in 2019-2020. 7 players averaging 17 or more minutes per game. 4 players averaging double figures on the season. Malachi Flynn leading the way, averaging 15.9 points per game. Did you envision Flynn having this sort of an impact on this program in his first season since transferring from Washington State?
Not necessarily, but he's had a bigger impact than even you described. He leads the team in minutes. He leads the team in assists. Everything that San Diego State does offensively really goes through him. So, yeah, he's stepped in. It's not an easy thing to do, to transfer into a program and fit in right away. And even if you're a pretty good player, and he's obviously a pretty good player, it's hard to have this kind of an impact right away on a team. And so, really, a lot of credit to him and the coaches for being able to make this happen, and it's been a big part of what they do offensively.
Well, it's incredibly difficult to go undefeated in conference play, and it's incredibly difficult to do that in the Mountain West. No team has ever done it. The team that came the closest was the 04-05 Utah team that went 13-1, led by the eventual #1 pick in the NBA, Andrew Bogut. Now fast forward to this season in San Diego State. What are the biggest challenges the Aztecs will face in making history and possibly having a chance at running the table?
Yeah, boy, it is a difficult thing to do in any league. I mean, unless you're a team like Gonzaga, where you just have such an overwhelming talent difference year in and year out, it's not easy. And San Diego State, as good as they are, doesn't have an overwhelming talent difference over the rest of this league. So the key to going undefeated, first of all, is consistency of intensity. Bring the intensity every single game, because as you continue to build that undefeated record, and right now they're undefeated 14 games into the season, 15 games into the season, you've got the target on your back. So you've got to bring the intensity every night, consistency of effort, and then you've got to especially do that on the road, because those are always the toughest games. I don't care who you're playing on the road. That the crowd is going to be there, the energy is going to be there. You got to match their intensity right out of the gate, and that's the hardest part about going undefeated, because that's a really difficult thing for college age kids to do over 2 months in a season in the grind of a conference.
Well, we do know this. It's going to be a fun couple of months here on the run to March Madness. Jerry, we always appreciate your time. You do a fantastic job. Appreciate your insight on the Aztecs.
All right, thank you.
That's Jerry Palm, senior writer for CBS Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. San Diego State will next play Wyoming on Wednesday, January 8th. You can watch the game live from Laramie right here on the Mountain West Network. This feature has been brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, the official credit union of the Mountain West. From the Mountain West Network studio, I'm Jesse Kurtz.